and welcome. Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback Baker Mayfield set to be a free agent this offseason. And of course, a hot button topic of debate this entire season is should the Tampa Bay Buccaneers re-sign Baker come the offseason. Now, myself, personally, I have stood steadfast on the side of yes ever since the team signed Baker last offseason. That week, I came out with a video, a long rant, talking about the fact that yes, the Buccaneers should re-sign Baker Mayfield. Yes, he was going to beat out Kyle Trask, and he was going to go on to have a very good season. Of course, I feel vindicated. Already have, been vindicated for quite some time. However, something that is really nice to see. The Buccaneers, of course, their season ended this past weekend, losing to the Detroit Lions. They did not advance into the NFC Championship round. Very disappointing. However, even in defeat, Baker Mayfield showed a lot of grit, showed a lot of heart, showed a lot of the traits that you'd like to see in a good performance, coming off of a great performance against the Philadelphia Eagles in the wild card round 1 week prior. And the national media, the mainstream narrative, it's really started to change around Baker Mayfield. Earlier in the season and before the season, of course, Baker Mayfield was a stopgap, journeyman, bridge quarterback who the Buccaneers are just going to look to move off of as soon as possible in order to draft their next future franchise guy, right? I mean, going into the season, the Bucs were a bottom 5 team by most power rankings in the league, and Baker Mayfield was going to lead them to a top 5 draft pick so they could draft his replacement. Well, that did not happen. Not even close. And now we're starting to see the narrative turn, right? And Chris Sims had a very interesting quote today where he just, Mike Florio and Chris Sims were very casually discussing Baker Mayfield and the topic of re-signing him and all that good stuff. And he just casually referred to Baker Mayfield as a, quote, big-time NFL quarterback. Even referenced the fact that on any given Sunday he could be somewhere between 6 and 15, potentially, again, in the top 10 of quarterbacks in the league any given Sunday. That's a high remark of praise, right? That's high-level praise for a guy who literally was viewed as a bridge, stopgap quarterback less than 12 months ago. Huge season for Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers, turned around his entire career narrative, and although I don't believe that the Buccaneers should re-sign him because the narrative has changed, I think it's dangerous to think through that lens, right? Through the scope of the narrative. You should have your own opinions, formulate your own thoughts, all of that stuff. I have always been on the side, as I stated, of Baker Mayfield should be brought back. But it is just nice to see a guy get his flowers, to see a guy get the credit that he deserved. Baker Mayfield has earned that. His season is deserving of praise, and it's just nice to see him get rewarded. That's all. While, again, I don't think you should live in the world of the narrative. Context is important. I do just believe that it is nice to see, even if the narrative is irrelevant, it's nice to see a guy get a little bit of a pat on the back when it's deserved. So, Baker Mayfield getting some praise. Who'd have thunk it?